today we're gonna do a little bit of an interesting practice working with a Yang style large frame sequence. Now, when I say large frame, this is a comparison point to something else we're already doing here within our lineage, within our system. In the practice of Tai Chi, we oftentimes refer to a frame. In Chinese, it's a jia or jiazi. It's your shape. The shape you make with your body. Each martial art is gonna have a very distinctive frame. Yang style Tai Chi looks one way, Shin style Tai Chi looks another, Sun style looks another. It's a frame that you're creating, that you're working within, that we can then use to study, strengthen our movement, and just go deeper, and then release a little bit of that frame into more natural movement. So the more intentional we can build it in a way that we can release it. Now, some styles will just be large frame or small frame. They'll just say, this is the way we do it. We do our move small, or we do our move big. Other styles will move between those. And that's very much how we train it here. We want to understand our movement along a spectrum, not just small, not just big, but both and in between. And so we can look at different sequences or different movement patterns to help us explore this. And why is that beneficial? Because it allows us to interact with our movement in a much more holistic, well-rounded way. Doing things big, doing things small, are going to expose all different kinds of things for us to work on and improve. So here's the first few movements of this larger frame sequence. So that's a little bit of the large frame sequence. Now, sequence, that's a shared sequence that many styles of Tai Chi have, that movement in that order. So that's not really the most important thing to pay attention to. What we want to understand is the mechanics. How are those mechanics expressing the Tai Chi mechanics, and why is doing them large like that help us in our movement? And so to better understand that, we're going to work our ocean stepping and parting wild horse's mane within this sequence, because if you notice that there's a really beautiful flow in there that you can use to get deeper into your basic Tai Chi concepts. So if we do our parting wild horse's mane, I am going to create an empty full. Now for this larger frame, we want to sit down as much as we can into our, really work our squat a little bit and still shift ourselves forward. When we feel this leg become full, we want to stand up tall and then sink back down. Okay, so as we open up, we sink onto this back leg, shift it over, and then stand up tall as we turn and sink back down. And as I sink back down, I have a little bend. You notice how that leg's bent? I'm not fully straight. I have it a little bent. Now, to make the transition, I straighten and push. Release, pull back. And here's a big lift over and place it down on this leg. Open and repeat. So lower down, shift, lift, and lower. Keep a little bit at that back leg. Straighten and push. Pull back, lift up, press down, open, collect, bring everything together. Shift, lift, settle. So right here in this position, if I come facing here, this is the end of that movement, which is the beginning of the next movement. This is really nice for expressing our Tai Chi principles. So we can look at full, mostly full, empty, mostly empty, and what sort of potential that creates in our form. So remember, empty and full is one of the ways we can first start talking about harmonizing yin and yang, which is that underlying concept in our Tai Chi practice that increases our coordination, increases our body method. So when I do this first big movement and I lift this leg off the ground, anytime you lift that leg off the ground, empty, full, right? And so it doesn't have to go super big, okay? It can just be small, but it's still creating a very clean, empty, full that you can get bigger and bigger as time goes on. Now, when we place the foot out, this leg should be still mostly full, mostly empty. It might not be perfect because it's not going to be the same as when you have it lifted up. Now, as we shift and this becomes mostly full, we lift it and set it back down. And we want to keep that concept of mostly full present, mostly empty, because now we can go from mostly full to completely full, and then pull it back to completely empty, completely full, mostly full, mostly full, completely full, completely empty. So what we can begin to distinguish is forward, turning, forward, turning. And keep that more constant. Lift, sink, press, pull back, roll over. And we really get a nice flow within our ocean stepping and the movement of our practice. And it can become something that you do separate from the form if you want to, and sort of study those different expressions. So let's look at this. Let's see if we can take this movement, have it big, have it small, have it be wherever you want it to be, okay? So when I come here, big, feel a big circle. Another big movement. Rise, fall, extend, pull back. Eventually you can connect this to the Tai Chi energies, Peng, Lu, Ji, An. Now, what happens if we make it small? Changes the quality. But aren't we doing the same thing? Just expressing it now, small. And maybe make it a little bigger. And move it on, okay? I'm gonna end up off camera eventually if I keep going. But it's a practice that you can really release your focus into. your body into and just feel yourself catch that wave. This is really where our ocean stepping comes from, because now you've got this big wave crashing over, settling in, gathering, rising, creating a little motion to work from. And there's a way you can interact with that, changing the size of your frame. And this is something that is very, to be honest, is a classical practice within Tai Chi. In our Chin style, which is the root of our Tai Chi, we oftentimes work on small movements at times, changing those to bigger movements, because it's all just Tai Chi. So there's a little bit of how we can start introducing the concept of a frame by looking at the different sizes of the frame that we're creating and how that changes how we interact with the movement. And it just allows you to express your Tai Chi more fully, get a little bit more into it, and it's just a lot of fun. If you'd like to go deeper, join our community where we host weekly live sessions and structured courses that help you refine your movement, deepen your understanding of Tai Chi mechanics, and bring more awareness into your practice. You can keep your practice going by watching these videos next.